Okay, welcome to the 20th season of the Serbian Rugby League. Dobrodošli, welcome. I'm with Graham Sims today as usual. My name is Colin Clayweg. Welcome, Graham.
Thank you, Colin, and really looking forward to this first of the season hit out. I think it's going to be very interesting to see the new Dorcol, shall we call it?
Yes, it is the new Dorcol.
And, to see these guys now had a good pre-season from what I gather. They've got plenty of folk on parade today, including a full bench, which is very exciting, and, it's good to see, isn't it?
It's wonderful to see, mate. It's really good. We want the game of rugby league to continue growing. When this side hits its straps later this year, they're actually going to be very, very combative and very strong. So what that does is that places us now with a minimum of 4 teams at a very good level in Serbia, which is the most important thing. It is you and I have been talking about previously, and you and Mark more often. It's important that there's a great picture of Milos Zogovic falling flat on his apex.
I think he did that for the cameras.
What are you looking forward to today? And we'll remind everybody, today isn't a game for points. It's basically a pre-season match. It's a warm-up.
I think there's going to be a few subplots, isn't there? Because we've got 2 or 3 ex-Red Star guys playing for Dorcol today, and
yes.
I think but I think overall, I think the most interesting thing for me is going to be to see the strength of Dorcol now they've regrouped, as we just said, and see what that squad is up to in terms of playing, Serbia's best.
Yes.
And see how I think the first 40 minutes, certainly the first 20 minutes, is going to be extremely interesting to see how they perform, especially in the forwards.
Yeah. No, for sure, and it does look like it's a standard Balkan Serbian-looking team, isn't it? If you look across at the Dorcol Tigers. A lot of, fairly mobile, fairly big bodies in there, so the contact's going to be interesting. And again, one of the things for Red Star, as we've talked about previously, a lot of mobility, but maybe lacking a bit of size. So it could be an interesting first 20.
Yeah, and of course I know over the pre-season that you're talking to the guys on training and Jelko and Mark and Phil, they were aware that maybe in the props, for instance, they've been maybe a little bit lightweight. I saw there's a new guy come back today. I don't know his name, but he's one who's Jelko's been after for a while to come back. It's good to see him here today, and so I think what we're saying is that Red Star are aware that maybe they need to add some bulk in the forwards to compete and to continue to dominate this great league that we're entering this season.
No, for sure. And look, I'm sure with some of the pre-season news that was discussed about Red Star's ambitions, there'll be a few people today watching in places like England. It's a good time for the broadcast today in Australia. So, there'll be a lot of interest today in how Red Star perform and in the systems that Phil Economides is putting into place with the team. What are your thoughts on those sort of future objectives and what you'd like to see from the Red Star players today?
Well, as we know, once you reach the pinnacle, which Red Star have done for a number of seasons now, the most difficult thing is to maintain it. Sometimes when you're playing catch-up, as we probably know in sport, it becomes a little less. Let's say that the pressure's not as much because so the pressure's always going to be on Red Star Belgrade Rugby League because they are the team that everybody's going to go for.
Yes.
So I think they've had a good pre-season. I've been down to a number of training sessions and seen the guys. They look fit. Phil has got them, working more and more as a team with some great moves that we've seen, on the training park.
Yeah.
And I think Phil will be very interested to see how that now, realises itself from the training park to a full-on game. So I think there's a lot of things today that is going to be very interesting. Not least, for me, the overriding thing for me is the Dorcol strength. So
Yeah.
there's so many little subplots. It's going to be an interesting 80 minutes of rugby league.
Let's talk a little bit about Dorcol, and we'll have a couple of minutes to discuss very quickly the other teams, the other two major teams, I think, in the competition. Dorcol Tigers are going to be interesting. Most people wouldn't know that the famous Dorcol team here in Serbia is pretty much disbanded, with a lot of the players coming across to this team. As you mentioned as well, this team actually has a smattering of ex-Red Star players in it as well. So they're going to be very strong, aren't they?
That's what everything is saying, isn't it? So you know, that can only be good for this for the setup in Serbia in general. The stronger the opposition, the better the rugby league. That's the bottom line, isn't it?
Beautiful. Well, look, we might get more time to speak about, thank you very much, we might get more time to speak about Partizan and Radnički Niš in the half-time break. But I think it'd be great if we talked a little bit about them as well, because I see Partizan being very, very strong. They captured, it's probably one of the best signings in Serbia since Red Star got Stefan Nedeljkovic to have Stevanovic.
Yes.
Anyway, here's the kickoff. This is the commencement of the game. Nikolic takes the first catch for Dorcol Tigers, and that's interesting, ex-Red Star player for the last 2 years.
Oh, they lifted him pretty well there and took him back a few metres.
So some numbers are hard to see here, but this is the third tackle. Good defence so far from the Red Star Belgrade team. Nikolic shifting across to the right. Fourth tackle, not many metres made there at all, Graham, so...
Well, I think they're just going to play the basics for the first set and just, you know, test each other out down the middle of the park, which, you know, is probably the right thing to do.
That's it. Fifth and last there, I reckon a sum total of about 12 metres made in that set. Long pass back to Nikolic. Here's the bomb down the middle of the field, taken well by Zogovic.
Yeah.
Zogovic finding space already in the centre of the field. So Red Star with their first tackle already in Dorcol Tigers territory. Here's Vojadedic with a nice little pickup and another 10-metre run. Good work there. Simple rugby league.
Oh, great dummy there
Dedic with a great dummy, splitting the markers, making good metres. That's 3 tackles and about 40 metres made. Spread to the left here. Daniel Watson looks across. Alexander Djordjevic, short ball to Mate Bajic, lost the ball in the tackle.
Yeah, they hit him nice and early, did Dorcol, and just forced the error there. But it showed that the moves are already on the cards for Red Star, doesn't it? With some good attacking play and metres gained.
Well, what was good there is it was all very, very simple, very safe rugby league. And the moment there they spread the ball to the left, it was flat, static, and a little bit panicky. So, you know, straight away I'd be thinking, Phil would be saying, go on, the first 4 tackles you made 40 metres. There's no need to spread it. You could have hit it up again in the middle.
Yeah.
Awesome. So here's the first hit up off of the scrum.
Good strong run from the Dorcol lad.
Yes, and again, great defence. So the ball is spread here to the left. We're just not in position to see the numbers until they turn around. That's the number 10, Alex Radic.
Again, good hit.
Great hit, great contact. And what Red Star are doing here, Graham, is they're hitting on and before the advantage line. There's a lot of Dorcol Tigers players who aren't even meeting the advantage line at the moment as they hit the ball up.
Well, it's very fast line speed from Red Star, isn't it? And you know what it's got to progress in terms of, you know, forcing errors, because Dorcol are looking that little bit slower with the ball. So the defence is certainly on top from Red Star at the minute.
Vojadedic feeds Rajko Trifunovic playing in the centres. Put back onto his back. That is going to be a penalty for pushing him back down in the play of the ball. That's really good refereeing. They'll look to take a tap here and spread it to the right. First hit up. This is Marko Jankovic. So good to see him back, but he's lost the ball.
Yeah, he dropped.
Just gave him a rap, the commentator's curse. But again, another thing that we talked about last year, 2 incomplete sets from the Red Star team.
Yeah, that was a theme of all last season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When we counted up the completed set. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops this season.
Well, look at the D again meeting the player before the advantage line. So there's really good line speed here in the defence. Very tight 10 but as well, Graham, I have to admit.
Oh, that's good from... Yes.
They've got the numbers here. Nice spread there by Dorcol Tigers.
Yeah.
Nice spread. That'll be the third tackle. Unkovic. Nice size for a number 9, Nick Unkovic. That's actually the fifth and last now. Good play from Nikolic, taking the kick from the dummy half position. That's Ilya Krustic.
Oh, it's Ilya, yes, of course. My God. They look like twins.
Yeah, they do,
From
mate.
a distance and
They
with
do.
my eyes.
Here's Zogovic. Little bit of space. Well done. Needs to get up and play the ball quickly. Good work there. Shifts the ball left now. This is Daniel Watson. Hope I pronounced that correctly there, Graham.
Yeah.
He's going to play the ball probably on the third. Voya
We're
Dedic.
looking for the gap.
Nice work there. Red Star need to complete a set here. Vladislav Dedic. Daniel Watson with another wraparound, finding space and making good post-contact meters. That's the fifth and last.
He's making himself available, Daniel, isn't he?
He is. Nedeljkovic. The
Well, they got
options
the gap,
are open here,
and
and
he's
that's
in.
beautiful rugby league with Dennis Chengai to score in the corner.
It was a very well worked try, wasn't it? And they forced the overlap, and the support play was there for all to see. Good, easy try in the end, I think.
Well, I think this is the key. Red Star Belgrade have to really concentrate now on completing sets, because what they're doing, Graham, is they're bringing the defence in because they're very hard to handle. So they're making post-contact meters. They're making a minimum of 10 metres on every hit-up and then a few metres on the post-contact. And if they have the discipline to just simply hit the ball up through the middle, go to their fifth, they're going to bring the defence in. They're going to suck the defence into the midfield. And the second thing that they do when they just ran the ball there on the fifth, the wingers are going to drop back, which gives them a number of spaces and holes. And it should be very, very simple rugby league. They do not need to spread the ball on the third when they don't have the momentum. They need to continue to play in that manner.
Indeed, and when you've got people like Voya and Vlada Dedic looking for, they seem to find the time, don't they? The sign of very good rugby league players. They're looking for the gaps, and they've created a couple already. So.
And what's good is the way Daniel Watson's been used at the moment. You just
He's
mentioned,
coming in, looking for it, isn't he?
He's really setting up as a link.
great
Beautiful kick straight over the very wide red dot, and that is 6-0 to Red Star Belgrade Rugby League Club. Milos Zogovic making the conversion.
So I think the interesting thing now is how Dorcol reacts, because they haven't been able to get over the advantage line so far. The defence has been just about together up until that break there, but it's now all about them stepping up to the mark and getting some motivation back into the squad, and hopefully getting on the front foot a little bit with possession.
Yeah, I think so. I think for their defence, the energy in both defence and attack needs to lift, because they're fairly static in both forms of the game. Here's the kickoff. Okay, Milos Zogovic calls mine, feeds the ball to Stefan Nedeljkovic, who finds some metres already, busts 2 tackles, busts 3, and makes about 15 metres to 20 metres.
Well, I call him the truck, and there was evidence. He's got such strength, upper body and lower body. He's a big unit to put
Daniel
down.
Watson also makes 15 metres. Djordjevic sees
Great
that,
pass,
takes a
fast.
great ball. Marko Jankovic working on an edge there, makes another 15. And he's dropped the ball again in the tackle.
He did
That's
drop it.
twice. That's twice, and he needs to improve that. He'd made 2 good runs on both occasions, but losing the ball undoes all of that good work. And
it's easy up here, isn't it? But it always surprises me when they've done what they need to do, just to say, hang on, let's just play this ball. It's basic stuff. But
well, you're right, it does look easy, and it's probably not, but it was the easier part of the task to simply stand up with the ball and play it. He'd done all the good work. He'd met the attack or the defensive.
I think he just caught a loose. I don't know, his foot came round, or his elbow.
Oh, yes. Might have to have a couple of minutes to just clear him. Yep, they've told him to have 5 minutes, I think, just to clear up the mind. No, he looked disappointed, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, he's coming off.
Well, good. That's fine.
So Vuk Strubac enters the fray now for Red Star Belgrade with, I'm not sure if we call it a headbin anymore. We used to call it that, but
Well, yeah, I don't know whether it
a
counts
forced
as
interchange.
Yeah.
But it doesn't count as an
No,
interchange
no.
because the referee's called it as a head knock. Here's that nice little left-hand side move again from Dorcol Tigers. They do look like they like that side of the field. Nikolic. This is Radic.
He's certainly the pivotal guy, Nikolic, isn't he, in terms of their planned moves?
Yeah. Unkovic to Nikolic. Well, Nikolic has played for Serbia, so it's very good pedigree. I think
And
that's
of course,
the fourth tackle there.
He was one of the ex-Red Star Belgrade players, of course.
Yes, indeed. Tried to milk the penalty on that previous occasion, didn't work. Nikolic takes the kick, he finds some space, but well positioned there, Zogovic. Looking to link with Ilija Krstic. Some opportunity here to make some metres. He's run straight into the big boys, so that was brave, and they've really put him down with a dominant tackle there. So good work from Dorcol Tigers. Dennis Chengai. I love it when the backs take the hard hit-ups like this.
Yeah, give the forwards a little rest.
Nikola Đurić. Nice standing on his feet. Strong in the tackle. Clears and gets a good play the ball, splitting the markers. Stefan Nedeljkovic. Here's Aleksandar Đorđević.
Just about right.
Yep. I think that was four. I think the linesman picked that up. Referee hasn't had time to see him, so it's play on. This will be the fifth. First time that Red Star get a kick and complete a set.
That's some
Great
height on
bomb.
that one. And very well
Great
taken.
take. That is a superb take by Milan Avramovic-Sleta.
Didn't take his eyes off the ball,
No.
Colin. And there was, he had some troops running down on him. You've got to be brave to do that. He
Superb
was.
bravery.
Yeah.
Second tackle. Dorcol really tight in the corner. That was a well-taken ball there by Nikolic. It was high. Third tackle there, bit slow getting up. This is Kosanovic, Danilo Kosanovic, another of the ex-Red Star players now with the Dorcol Tigers. His first hit up is a good one. Fourth tackle there. Numbers here on the left again for Dorcol. Well picked up there in the end. The Red Star defence slid, but they've got some overlap and some numbers here on this left-hand side. Here's Unkovic with a really difficult, nasty little kick. Bounces well,
yeah, the bounce favoured Ilija Krstic there, and he made some good meters back up. So it's back for Dorcol having to do the defending again.
Yes. Valentino Milovanovic with the little hit up. Nice little hit up there, Đorđević. Nice
Good
ball on
hands.
the outside to Trifunovic. Beautiful stepping. Feeds outside to Zogovic. Zogovic on
can
the
see
inside.
the line and
he'll score. Under the post. Beautiful rugby league there by Red Star Belgrade.
Fast hands again, wasn't it, Colin? And they split the defence quite easily then on the left flank. So we've seen it on the right flank, we've seen it now on the left flank.
And we've seen it in every tackle through the middle. So you're now starting to get a pretty good indication that Red Star should, with controlled possession, they should do very well today.
Well, they're certainly dominating, and when you see the support play, they're looking fast. They're all looking hungry. There's guys coming in from the centres and the wings, coming in and looking for work, which is a great sign. As you said earlier, Colin, quite rightly, takes a little bit of weight off the forwards having to do all the hard yards. And of course, once you get it out to somebody like Milos and he sees the whitewash, then very often there's no stopping him.
No, there's no stopping him. If he has the option to pass and he has the option for the line, he's always going to take the option for the line. But that's good. That's good. What you don't want, it's like watching football when a striker is not confident, he's passing the ball to, one of his other players. He gets critiqued for that. So I'd rather see him pin the ears back and go for it because he's got the speed. It's really, really good coaching at the moment. So you picked up a moment ago that there's a lot of the smaller players coming in and doing the hard work early. We've picked, there's a massive difference in size between the forwards. You take out Nedeljkovic as a massive human being. But apart from him, the rest of the forwards for Red Star Belgrade are all mobile.
They're more mobile than bulk, and
yes.
you know, so that if they can offload the workload and spread it out a little bit, then that's going to help, because it's going to keep the guys hungry for the rest of the game, and the fitness is also showing. I mean, a good pre-season they've had. They've worked hard. And you're starting to see it straight away, aren't you, really?
You are, and what we're seeing as well, you look at the and this is not a criticism in any way of the other players, but if you look at the Red Star players, their physique, there's very few of them that have got a lot of body fat. A lot of them, they're all looking good athletes now. So that's going to tell. I mean, if Red Star can hold over 50% of the ball that they have, and they're probably sitting around 50-50 with possession as far as completed sets is concerned. Possession in terms of territory sounds like a Manchester City game versus anyone in the bottom half, or Liverpool,
or even Leeds United,
or even Leeds United in the Championship. It would have to be 90% of the ball in Dorcol's half.
Indeed.
So the kickoff has gone straight to Stefan Nedeljkovic. He said to Milos Zogovic,
you met him.
I can catch it. Vukstrobac says, it doesn't matter that I have the body of a young man, I still believe I'm a prop forward, and he takes it up. Love that attitude. Here's Daniel Watson sporting the headband now after that knock, so that was really good refereeing to take care of him. Good work there by the Dorcol Tigers defence.
And he saw the gap, Vlada, he's going to feed him in, he's got to begin.
There it is, and Miodrag Tomic with his first touch of the ball in a game back for Red Star Belgrade after, in 2018, he did his knee, was out for a year and a half. That is a beautiful story there, Mr. Sims.
And you can see with the rest of the players, they're very happy for him. And again, if you look from the play the ball, what I was saying earlier with people like Vlada Dedic, they look for the gaps, they find the gaps, and it opened up for him very nice, and a beautiful return for the guy.
That's wonderful, to touch the ball for the first time, and Michko is definitely a confidence person. That will give him immense confidence, and once he got into the open there, he seemed to get faster and faster with every metre that he approached the try line.
And you could see exactly what we said. It was great for the rest of the guys. They wanted to go up and celebrate with him, and that's a wonderful story, isn't it, in itself?
I think there was 11 players around him, with the only person hanging back, Stefan Nedeljkovic, thinking, I'm just going to preserve my energy for the next hit-up. So here we are at Ada Ciganlija. It's about 15 to 16 minutes into this match. It's 16-0. Getting ready for the conversion here, and Milos Zogovic will not miss that. He does the right thing by the ball boys and doesn't pump it into the forest.
Very kind of him.
Very kind. He knows that's probably one of the few balls that we've got at the moment and needs preservation. Nothing like park football.
But you picked up on it earlier about the bulk of the Red Star physiques. They do look fit, don't they? And you know, you can see. I don't know whether they do these measurements before and end of season and
starting
pre-season,
to do stuff like that.
And you can see they just do look very fit. Even Phil, may I say, looked like he's lost a couple of kilos.
He has. Or you know,
stop smoking.
Yep, he has.
He's looking pretty fit and hungry, is Phil.
No, for sure, and it's good. It's a good sign for a healthy club, so I'm probably the next in line to stop that. But, you know, these are slim-fit jerseys, so there's not many of them, and this is a short kick-off that is at the moment too short, but it will make it. Oh, wow. Well, what a piece of rugby league. I mean, big risk there. but it's managed to go across the line, and I don't think you could blame any of the Red Star players there for that. It was perfect.
Yeah. I think everybody thought that there's no way that ball's going to get over the line. It did. So it's now put Dorcol in an attacking position in Red Star's half. I think maybe for the first time.
Colin, yes, certainly the first time for a full set of 6.
Yeah.
So here's the hit up. We don't have the number 20, but picked up and driven backwards to the point of where he took the pass. The defence is phenomenal.
And again, fast lines up.
2 smaller men as well. They've picked him up with technique. Here's the number 8. That is Petar Pavlovic. Inside ball to Kosanovic. That's better there from Dorcol Tigers. They split the markers there and arrowed back on the inside for the 3rd tackle. Nikolic working across the field, trying to find numbers. Well met. He is dangerous in this match, Graham.
Yeah, he is, and he's always looking for the options, isn't he? And
Unkovic, Abramovic.
The Red Star defence were aware of him, and they just tracked him down and made sure he didn't, create anything from nothing.
Last tackle here. Unkovic runs it. Beautiful ball.
Has Danilo got the strength?
Held up. That's really good defence. He managed. That was a nice little feint to move there to the right, and then
flick the ball out from not an easy position. So that was more encouraging for Dorcol.
Here's Nedeljkovic with the first hit up. So has he lost the ball?
He has.
Another first tackle error. So this is that moment in the match where the flow changes.
Well, this is a great opportunity for Dorcol now. They're in a great position in the middle of the park. They've got a full set of 6 in front of them, and they're going to be looking to test this Red Star defence.
So here's the scrum. It's an incredible position for an attacking scrum, just on the left-hand side of the uprights. Both sides of the field to operate. You wouldn't even call it a blind side from this position, but they use it. It's a very big one. And there's the error. And it's going to be a runaway try to the other side of the field. He's not going to catch Valentino Milovanovic. He's going to run and score under the posts. 95-metre try.
He certainly pinned his ears back, and he's fast. I mean, the guys tried the best, but once he got that little break over halfway, then there was no stopping him. And interesting, I don't know if you picked it up, Colin, did you see who was supporting him? Vlada Dedic.
Oh, yes.
He was right on his tail, and it's great support. But it's a shame. It's a shame from a Dorcol perspective, isn't it? Because we were just saying it's a great position for them. 6 tackles in front, and on the first they drop the ball.
Oh, for sure. But, I mean, you've got to respect the possession when you get that opportunity. I mean, that was their opportunity to move it back to an 18-6 scoreline, to put a little bit of pressure on, to then build it with a good set.
And it all fell apart, unfortunately, for them.
No, and again, it was very static. See, they moved away from what worked really well the previous tackle. That was a wonderful bust by Unkovic, feigning to the right, moving to the left, getting a lovely offload to Kosanovic. They were so close to scoring. Kosanovic's body was in the wrong position to score the try.
And he also looked up, didn't he? That fatal mistake of looking up who's coming before the ball's in the in the envelope.
Here's Zogovic. Nice little chip, ensures the ball stays inside the field. Score is 24-0. So Red Star have shown through the middle when they keep possession, shown on the left, shown a shot on the right, and now shown that they can take an intercept, they can capitalise on an error, and they can hit you from their own goal line.
Well, it's a continuation of the end of last season, isn't it? It looks like they've just continued, which is great. Plaudits to all concerned on the training, because they look well-oiled.
I think they've actually stepped it up. I'm a little bit surprised there's this many points, and the way the game looks, this is a fairly strong team that Red Star are playing today. This isn't a weak side. And at the moment, Red Star, if they're able to start completing at a level around 70 to 80%, Graham, it might actually get scary. So here's the kickoff. It's around 24 minutes. Gone the short kick again. Great work by Milovanovic because he saw that that was on. Somebody will need to get in and help.
Wow, well done, Valentino.
Good run here. Needs to hold on to the ball. Vojvodedic realises that, gets the second hand there. Vukstrubat spots again a little opening. He meets Nikolic in the heart of the defence.
And he's still going forward.
He makes 15 metres. He's the smallest man on the field. Second tackle. Marko Jankovic needs to hold this ball. He's getting a fair bit of work. He just needs to stand up and play it, and he does. That's good. So Alexander Djordjevic. Nice ball here to Zogovic. Zogovic making metres again. Beautiful little pass there to Vladadedic. Vladadedic now about 8 metres out from the goal line. Big shift here on here to the
Daniel's
right.
feigned a dummy.
Daniel Watson, not a hand on him from the fullback, and that was not good, Graham. That lack of commitment there from the fullback. If we're going to see that, this is going to be a big scoreline today. It's 28 points to 0.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel again, he joined up in a great attack there. They could have taken it out. They could have used the extra numbers around on the right flank, but he had the confidence. It was such a small dummy, but you say the Dorcol guy, he wasn't there, was he? He'd gone. I don't know where he'd gone, but he just didn't do his job.
I think the hardest thing with that, I've been impressed with what Dorcol Tigers have done so far because it's a new team. We've got to give them credit. It's a new team. They need time to gel together. That's the first time we've seen, it's harsh to say, but that's the first time we just saw a little bit of lack of intent. He could have done better and put his body in the way and just made it more difficult to score, and it just looked like he saw and just thought better of getting into the full contact. So here's the kick. It's now 30 points to 0. It's probably better than a point a minute here. But this is where on the Red Star Belgrade side of things, you've got to not think about what the opposition are doing. You've got to continue to do the things that have got them into that position.
Absolutely. They're not going to take the foot off the gas at any time. Why would they? And it's disappointing from what we've seen so far with this, regenerated Dorcol side. And I'm guessing there's going to be some massive disappointment at the minute.
Well, I think you can see it's a very, very slow return to the kickoff here. It does look like they, I'm sure they would have thought that they were a good chance of pushing today. They've wanted this game for a long time. And, I would suggest there'd be a little bit of disappointment. But it's very important that they hold it together here. It's very, very important because, from our perspective as well with Red Star Belgrade, it's very important Red Star don't disrespect them now by taking the foot off the accelerator. That's actually more disrespect. Here's the kickoff. That took about a minute and a half there. That's a good kick, but lucky bounce for Red Star. Yeah. Well, when you're having the luck, here's Trifunovic. He takes the hit up. That's a high tackle. So that's about only the second penalty of the match. Well, third, actually, if you count the penalty for allowing the ball to go out. So here's the kick. That's one of the little 1%ers that Red Star haven't done well in the past. So good to see he didn't go for a massive amount of territory. Here's Watson. Great tackle there. That's a really good tackle by Radnic. Here's Marko Jankovic. He's being well met in the centre there by the Dorcol Tigers defence. Here's Trifunovic again doing the hard work in this set. Third tackle. Great ball to Juric. I like this set at the moment. It's simple. Has a little bit less energy than some of the previous ones. Ooh. Good hit there by number 14.
Voya still managed to somehow get himself out of that one.
Okay, this is the fifth and last. Vladislav Dedic with a really dangerous kick here. This is into no man's land. Drop forward. That'll be
again,
another set.
The look of the bounce.
And this is going to be a try here to the left if they shift it. All they need to do is shift it out and be patient.
Well, they've got numbers
Yeah,
here.
there it is. Yeah. There it is. Scores in the corner. That'll be Ilya Krstic. Or has he lost the ball? No, he's scored in the corner, 34-0.
But there was no defence on that side, Colin.
No, and it even had time for Trivunovic to make the error where he
came
dummied
back
to
in
the right.
first and then realised, no, I should go back out. He had the time to do it, and the defence was absent.
No, this is a pity at the moment. I can really feel a drop in intensity now from the Dorcol side.
Well, I didn't check the time, but I think the best thing that can happen for Dorcol is half-time comes around pretty quick without any more scores against, because they need to, have a decent half-time and see what they can do, because they're not going to win this game, obviously, but there's certain, targets that they can put together for the second half. They can stem up the defence, and they can also start to make some breaks, but, it is disappointing, Colin, I have to say. From a Dorcol perspective.
And from a rugby league perspective here, and it brings into being why we're talking about a bigger competition for a team of this nature. So Zogovic takes the kick. That is an absolute beauty, and to nail it from the sideline. I mean, this, apart from some dropped ball fairly early in the game, I think Red Star are now probably sitting around 65% with the completed possession statistics. And we mentioned before, I think anything over 50 in this local competition is going to be good enough. But we've talked with a number of players early this season about how important it is for them to set a minimum target of about 70 to 80% of completions, thinking that they're playing English and French and Australian opposition. And they've got to forget that whoever it is, they've got to forget who it is that's in front of them, and they've got to think this is English opposition. They've got to have that mindset.
And we're not being critical of Red Star, but if there is one area of improvement from last season and the season before, is the completion set. So I think that's something that Phil and the rest of the coaching team are aware of. I think they've trained hard on that pre-season, and if they can improve on that, they're going to become, they're going to continue to dominate. Well, we don't know yet, but that's what it's looking like, certainly against Dorcol today.
Yes. So here's the kick-off. Again, they go that short one. Chengai drops the ball backwards but cleans it up well. So that's not bad, actually, because what Dorcol are doing there, I do like this tactic. They've had success once, and they're pinning the first tackle of Red Star. They're pinning without momentum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So here's Uroš Martinovic. Good deep hit up there from Nikola Đurić. That ball's been stolen in the tackle.
Yeah.
There's
at least 3 or 4 people on there, so.
There's the kick. Nice one. Gets about 22 metres. So once again, Red Star Belgrade with a really good attacking position here. Probably got about 40 metres to work with. Vlada Dedic. Voja Dedic. Đurić. Good hit by Radic. Good first contact by Radic there. That's superb.
Well, he's been in most of the decent tackling, the number 8. And
that's much better intent from Dorcol Tigers. Much better. Sergej Devetak. Here's Đorđević. Here's a beautiful ball on the inside there to Voja Dedic. Fourth tackle, Đorđević.
Good little.
Đurić.
And he's still got the
nice
pass out.
Ball. Opportunity here through the middle. And scores under the posts.
He was determined to get that ball down, wasn't he?
Too strong, too much determination. Now that's probably the best set I've seen from Red Star Belgrade in attack, because those first 3 hits from the Dorcol players were very strong. That set of defence there, Devetak, magnificent hit. Really came out quickly out of the line, put the hit on right on the advantage line. There was a couple of, I think it was Radic in the tackle before. Really, really good attacking defence, but met by a spread.
That's right, and also, you know, Red Star were aware of that, but they still were coming forward, and they were still looking for the gaps. The strength of Vojadedic at the end, you know, he was so determined, but unlucky for Dorcol, as you say, Colin, quite rightly so. They did hit hard on the first 2 or 3 tackles, but then, you know, the quality of Red Star still were coming forward, and they were looking for the gaps, and they found some.
Yes, they did. So 40 points to 0 is the score. Milos Zolgovic with a perfect record with the boot.
Don't be saying that, Colin.
Here it is. Little stab kick. 42 points to 0. Probably about 5 minutes left in this half. From a Red Star perspective, this is very, very good. There's a lot of work being put into this team in the pre-season, as you mentioned before. I think we're seeing, this is one of the best games I've ever seen Red Star play in this first half so far. This first 35 minutes, this is just control and power. And what's happening, Graham, is as the game goes on, they're getting more and more confidence. The possession rate is getting higher.
And that's unlucky for Dorcol, because you know, Dorcol will have come full of confidence, but they've met Red Star on a day, as you said, Colin, where they're playing so well. They're increasing their sets completion. Everyone's looking strong. They're looking confident within each other, and you know, it's a hard task for any team, let alone Dorcol, you know, to try and stem this constant attack.
Martinovic, this is the third. Being met well. There's good intent from the Dorcol Tigers forwards here. This is good defence in the middle. There's Nedeljkovic, just lost his feet. Probably would have made another 5. That's the 4th. Đurđević spits the ball in the middle. Daniel Watson has been dangerous. 5th and last here. About 45 metres made.
Are they going to let it run on the last?
Beautiful work. Oh, well, that's not a bad position, actually. I like that. I think that's far better than spinning the ball in a haphazard manner and losing it. If you've got the defence down there in the corner, and he's going to be in trouble here. First tackle's affected, sorry. First was just the changeover, the 0 tackle. Cross field in front of the goal line.
And lost metres there.
Lost metres, yes. They probably had to get back to better field position. Again, cross field. Looking for the opportunity to link up.
I think that's... Didn't Red Star put a hand on that?
No. That was... So Milovanovic with the first tackle. 2 metres out from the Dorcol Tigers line. Pass to nobody. Martinovic does well. That's the second tackle. Massive numbers on the left here, Graham. Massive numbers. Out we go.
Well, they got there.
Oh, they nearly butchered it, to be honest with you. They had a 4-on-1 overlap and decided to come back infield to test it out. But when you've got a 4-on-1 overlap, it's very, very hard to butcher that. Even I might have had trouble butchering that myself if I was out there, mate.
But I think that's the confidence now with Red Star, because, you know, in a tight game, that ball would have just continued to go out left. They didn't. They decided to come inside because they thought they could, you know, they've got the confidence to do that. It could have gone wrong, but it didn't.
No, for sure. So we have a 46 points to 0 score line here. I have to admit it is starting to get to the point where it's now a little bit disappointing in terms of a spectacle.
I mean, it all started from a Dorcol mistake down on this flank here,
And what
Colin.
a pass
you know,
to throw to your winger. I mean, that's just.
He had his knees on the ground. He just should have taken the tackle and
Yeah.
gone again. But no.
But too much crossfield as well. You know, the first
Crossfield
one you
and
understood why they brought it to the centre to maybe make it.
They were making no yards forward at all. None.
So here's the kick from Zogovic. Not going to put the mocker on this one.
No.
This is a bit of a harder kick. He's kicked them all from either on the sideline or directly in front. There's the shot. He's missed it too. So I picked that not to get confidence. So.
He's not going to blame you for that one, Colin.
All right, so 46 points to nil here, probably 2 or 3 minutes left in this first half. So
Just away from the actual game of rugby, what is really good to see, Colin, is the amount of people today. That's fabulous. I mean, here we are on the first day of March in Belgrade.
Yep,
I'm sure you've been here when we've had snow and ice, but
yes.
Today we're looking at 15 degrees. There's probably a bigger crowd as I've seen down here at Ada. So
this is what happens when you bring juniors in.
Yes, yeah.
This is what happens when you bring juniors. It's so important to the soul of the club.
Well, we've been saying this for a while, Colin, and
Yeah.
you know I'm a big supporter in keeping that going with the juniors.
Smart
Excellent
play
from
by
Nikolic.
Nikolic. So nice little offload there in the centre. Number 10 there again is Radic.
Oh,
Think he's lost it.
it's just
Oh,
stupid, simple mistakes. So disappointing, Colin. When you've worked a great kick-off and you've put yourself on the front foot. Unforced error. We've seen this now maybe 3 or 4 times from Dorcol, and
yep. That's fatigue too. And you hear that from Daniel Watson. We lift. That's wonderful work. When you're that far in front, knowing that it's just before half time. I love it. I love that killer attitude, because that's what's going to take this team to higher levels. Juric, bit of a crossfield run. That's the half time. What a wonderful half of rugby league for the Red Star Belgrade Rugby League Club. Dominant 46 points to nil performance. Holding the ball probably, I think, for around about 75% of the sets by the end of that half. And Graham, love to get your thoughts on that first half of rugby league.
Well, if we look at Red Star, then I think Phil's going to have one of his easiest half-time talks, because everything that's been put together pre-season is coming off, and some, because the guys are looking fit, they're looking strong. They're looking confident and comfortable with each other. They've got some great moves. They don't mind whether they're going to go down the middle. They're making yards. When they get the ball and throw it out, the guys are in support. They're finding the gaps. So, like I say, this halftime talk is going to be good. More of the same. Keep the intensity. On the flip side, I think the Dorcol half-time is going to be a bit dire, because they've come in, as we said, with great expectations. They've got the best squad they've had for many a year.
Yes.
They've got a good influx of young players coming through, some big forwards. They've got experience from a lot of the guys, and I'm guessing they're going to be saying, well, what aren't we doing that we've been doing pre-season? And I think, perhaps, being fair to Dorcol, Red Star has been so good that I don't care who they'd have been playing this half. It would have been tough for any side to stem the flow from Red Star. So there's a lot of work for Dorcol to do. This is a good eye-opener for them for the season ahead. And as I say, going back to Red Star, it's going to be a great half-time talk.
It's very, very hard to judge, as you just said, but I think, with absolutely no disrespect, you'd like to see Red Star today playing at a sort of NCL Conference Premier, NCL 3 type level to judge the level of play that they're playing with today. That would be the determinant. Who knows what it would be? But certainly I think the level that Red Star Belgrade are playing at today is 1 to 2 levels above above the general that we have. So instead of talking about Red Star and Dorcol, we promised that we'd talk about, I'd like to ask you some questions on what you're expecting this year from Radnički Niš, and then we'll focus on Partizan, because I think that's going to be special.
Well, yeah, and I think what's fantastic about the all the other teams within Serbia, that they've seen for the last 3 or 4 years a Red Star machine that's just taken everyone else apart. Now, we know, Colin, you more than anyone, that funding in Serbia is so difficult. Support is so difficult, and for teams like Radnički Niš and particularly Partizan, you could understand if they'd have said, well, you know what, we can't compete, so we'll just get through the season. They haven't. Both teams, particularly Partizan, have strengthened. I noted last season the Partizan under-19s were much stronger than Red Star. So they're not going to go anywhere. They've decided that they're going to strengthen everywhere, and their aim is clear. They're going to give Red Star a game. They're going to try and beat Red Star.
Yes.
And that is a great motivation. And I'm just so pleased that they've regrouped, done what they've done in pre-season, got some additional players playing, started to promote their juniors, and it augurs well. Whether it'll happen this season coming, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and one of the plaudits that I'd like to give to both Radnički Niš and to Partizan is I think they've done a far better job in the last 2 years, last year in particular, of growing their sport with Serbian funding and Serbian money. They've done a much, much better job of that than Red Star did, particularly last year. Radnički Niš have excellent support, Niš being the powerhouse of southern Serbia. They're able to get really good support from local government. And they've been able to put on very good junior training. And both of those clubs, last year there was a point where Red Star was probably about the third, even around the third to fourth best team at that junior level, which, given what's happened with Red Star and the investment, is not good. But this year, with a new person in charge of the junior academy in Vlada Dedic, who you've seen his commitment on the field. Well, I could tell everybody who's listening, Vlada is just as committed in anything to do with the management of juniors. Red Star are in a better position to close that gap, which is very, very important. So Partizan, back to Partizan. Partizan have been very successful getting support from their local government. They got a very, very good grant last year, and they've used it very wisely. They've invested it in juniors. They're giving their players a little bit, but to train others, and then they top that off with the signing
a marquee signing, isn't it?
Stevan Stevanovic. It's an absolute marquee signing. When Dorcol, towards the end of their reign, the Dorcol Spiders, towards the end of their reign, they looked to two players in particular, Stefan Nedeljkovic, who now is with Red Star, and Stevan Stevanovic, who has now gone to Partizan. Stevan Stevanovic is the sort of signing that will elevate Partizan a good level. So, some excitement coming in the future. But for right now, the future is this 40 minutes, and the future is what can Dorcol Tigers do to show us more of what they want to be capable of in 2020, this 20th season of Serbian Rugby League. And the future on the right-hand side is really what can Red Star Belgrade maintain that momentum that they had in the first half and build on an excellent half of rugby league. We won't have to wait too long.
No. And I notice the elder statesman Mark Robert Pullen has come out for this second half. I'm sure Mark will be eager to put his stamp on this game and get plenty of involvement.
That's it. So here's Uroš Martinovic rumbling forward. Meets the defence well. Uroš Martinovic is a story I love, actually.
It's a great
He's probably lost about 30 kilograms, and Vuk Strubac just lost the ball. So
everybody's losing.
Everybody's losing something.
Yeah, Uros is he's so determined, and a lot of what he's done is he went away and did some training on his own. He altered his diet, and he was very determined to be a part of the Red Star first team setup, and you know, all power to his elbow.
Here's the first hit up. We don't have the number 20, so I apologise for being unprofessional, but he's well tackled and turtled onto the back there by Juric and Vojadedic. Here's Danilo Kasanovic.
Rung strong
Well,
from
actually,
Danilo.
maybe that's Stefan. It is Kasanovic. Here's the number 10, Radic.
And he's
Lost
dropped
the
the
ball.
ball.
Lost the ball. 2 errors to begin the set. Both sides losing the ball.
Such a shame as well, because they're in, you know,
Again.
they'd worked a decent position, and then an error, you know, stops them in their tracks.
No, for sure. It's just the intent in the speed of the movement, isn't it, really? It's the intent at the moment. Here's the ball on the right-hand side for Red Star. Dennis Chengai just breaking slightly through the tackles, but well held there in the end by Salim Mitrovic. Ball on the left, Zogovic. Zogovic always seeking the bake
always
meters.
looking for work, isn't he, and finding his own meters.
Second tackle, Strubac, Juric. Well met there by the number 17, Ilija Stanic.
Oh,
Strubac.
dare we say that's the first move that hasn't come off?
Yeah, well, Vuk Strubac, I love his intent, but 2 sloppy errors to begin the half. And Phil Economides looks down towards the ground with his arms folded, probably not ultra impressed. Coming from the same player as well, you know, that lack of intent. I've spoken about it on the other side, a bit of a lack of intent there from Red Star at the start of this half. Unkovic feeds the scrum. Stefan Nikolic. Defence again strong there, this time on the right. The number 19, we don't have his name either. I apologise for that. Ragdolled to the ground by Vojadedic. Vojadedic could work all day.
And when you think Voya's been struggling with injury most of last season, and I was talking to him a few weeks ago, and he wasn't sure whether he was going to be, you know, fit enough, but he's certainly looking fit today.
Oh, he looks fit today. He looks fit today. So Unkovic met there well. Okay, first penalty here to Dorcol Tigers.
Well, I don't think they'll be going for goal, Colin.
We saw that once last year. Do you remember? I think you and I were commentating together out at Nish. I think the score ended up being 96-2. So, really, really good defence there in the centre. So that's the first tackle. Number 20 takes that strong. Hit strongly. Good opportunity here for Dorcol. I've got a good feeling about this set for them. This is the number 8, Pavlovic. Again, turtle. Working the left. They've got numbers here if they work them. Kasanovic held upright, picked up and driven backwards.
And he's not an easy guy to lift.
No, but he's too upright in the tackle, isn't he?
Yeah.
Fourth tackle.
They've gone
Work
down the
the
blind.
blind.
Yes!
And yes, good numbers. Very good. Oh, forward pass. He's called on the last.
Come on, referee.
Oh, I have to admit he could have let that go.
That's demoralising, isn't it, you know?
That's a real pity. They worked the numbers. They actually worked it beautifully there. They used
did.
Kasanovic to come in and get 4 or 5 players in the tackle. Yes, Red Star drove him backwards, but because they'd committed so many numbers to the tackle, they had the overlap. They used that overlap beautifully. I think that's a bit of a harsh decision to call that a forward pass. Not in line with it. I mean, and look, we don't want people to you know, turn a blind eye to the rules either, but that didn't look all that far forward.
Well, if Steve-O was still commentating, he would have said it was the momentum rule and he shouldn't have been classed as forward.
Yes. Mind you, he was going sideways, so...
such a shame. But hopefully, you know, they'll pick up something from that to
Well,
say, look,
they made a line break.
we can break their line. So let's see if they can capitalise on that.
Talking about line breaks, here's Zogovic with a good little tackle bust. Only made a few metres after the line break. That's one thing I picked up this half, actually. While the line breaks are still there, they're very small. They're nowhere near the size they were in the first half. Pullen takes the tackle. Marcus is split. Nedeljkovic breaks the tackle, makes another 3 post-contact. Strubac, Đurđević, here's the opportunity. Krstic, great run, Krstic. Ball's ripped out there. That has to be a penalty because there's 2 in the tackle. This has been great refereeing today, actually. The referee looks the part as well.
Yeah,
he looks the part in the kit.
Apart from that forward pass.
Mate, he probably nailed it. So I don't think he's made a single mistake in this match so far.
He keeps up with play, he talks to the players, and you know, they respect him.
Daniel Watson. Great little offload. Here's the opportunity. Vojvodedic. Ball into the middle. Oh, great take in the end.
I thought he'd lost that one.
Yeah, he did. Still going to work the blind here. Vojvodedic again, making space, making meat. He's lost the ball forward.
Has he lost?
Or has he scored?
He's got it down, and then the ball
That is phenomenal work again from Vojvodedic.
Boy, he's looking so fit, and he's looking very fast. I just noticed a couple of sets back. You know, the line speed. He was leading that.
He's the fittest he's been for the full 3 years that I've been involved in any form of Serbian rugby league. He's what's good with him is when you speak to him, he usually tells you, "I'm sore, I'm not happy." At the moment, he's just saying, "I think I'm okay."
I think he sold me a dummy or two, because when I've had conversations with him, he was like holding his side, saying, "Well, I'm not sure whether I'm going to be okay. I've got this, I've got that," and I think he's stitched me up, mate.
I think so, Graham. He's the sort of person as well that'll be laying in a bloody hospital on Thursday, and he'll come out on Sunday and I improved a little bit.
Yeah.
So absolute commitment to the game.
Well, he has, and I go back to when you know, that terrible game when Serbia got well beaten by Greece, and I watched Boyer, and right up to the 80th minute, he didn't give up. And
when there were others that did.
Yes, yeah.
So here's Zogovic. That's the 50 that was brought up there by the Red Star team. 50 points to 0. Here's the kick. It looks like it's going to fade a bit to the left. That's my guess anyway.
He didn't like it.
Nobody can prove otherwise. So, interesting start to the second half.
Hey, Mark, what were you doing running it in? You didn't offload.
Nice to have a bit of commentary still from the sideline. It's
not very professional, but I couldn't resist that.
No. We're not sitting in massive 50,000 seat stadium dressed in suits.
I do know Mark has been putting in some extra training. You know, he's what is he now, 43? And you know, he was telling me the other day he feels as fit as he did, you know, 15 years ago. So
it's wonderful. It's a credit to him. I mean, you know, there will be opportunities to play little cameo roles this year. There's no doubt about that. It's a long season.
Sure.
So here's the kickoff. 50 points to 0. Uroš Martinovic. Yeah, nice work there. Well tackled, well met. Unkovic and the number 6, Stankovic. Big numbers here.
Oh, good. Stefan decided to throw the dummy there, but
I think that's good. We don't want them to getting too expansive. I'd much rather see them use the five tackles. Good run here by Jankovic.
You can just see the speed, Colin, can't
you? The speed
it's looking so good.
Here's the wraparound. Beautiful work. Is he going to set the winger up? Oh, forward pass. Well, maybe that's
he's-
why he didn't use him on the previous, because there is, there is a difference there in the speed and technique because of the age difference.
Yeah. Mark will be disappointed in that.
And that's what's important this year for Red Star, to really start to get the younger Serbian players up to the levels. So another changeover for Red Star Belgrade. I think that's set completion rate of about 25% to start this half. But a lot of cross-field stuff here from the Dorcol Tigers. Certainly making it easier for Red Star in defence. Looking for the offload, which is a good thing.
Well, it is and it isn't, because we've seen it so often that Dorcol have lost when they've tried to do the offload. So
that's a much better hit up there. At least there was, a bit of straightening up into the defence. Third tackle made about 10 metres. Unkovic, slow again.
Very slow.
And they're just being driven backwards in every tackle. So we've had 4 tackles here in this set and probably a net gain of about 8 metres. That's much better. It's simpler rugby league.
But again, great tackling.
Great tackling.
Defence.
Okay, Nikolic with the kick. Here's Valentino Milovanovic. Taken there, probably about 12 metres from the halfway. Picks the second runner because Zogovic overran it, yes. That's good defence there. Pavlovic. Đurđević, very dangerous. Great ball to Daniel Watson. Oh, that was a much better ball, that one. That's very good. Good opportunity to shift now to the right.
He got hurt again, did Daniel? Not sure if his arm didn't come around the wrong way.
Oh, I think so. I think he's had the elbow bent back a bit there in that tackle.
Well, he's certainly in the walls today, Daniel, isn't he?
He is, isn't he? He's going to know he's had a game of rugby league. He'll be back on the Belgrade waterfront site tomorrow and be looking forward to a rest in comparison to this. My goodness, and the man works 10 hours a day down there too.
Well, he does, and in addition to that, he goes to the gym around 5 a.m. every morning.
He's a good lad.
Yeah.
Good lad. Yeah, and I made the comment before, with less than a minute before half-time, when Dorcol dropped the ball and Red Star Belgrade had a scrum, you could hear the Australian accent, "Come on, boys, now we roll." And that's brilliant. That's the mark of a man that we need in this club. So here's the shift. I think this is the third tackle. Zogovic met there by the big bear Kosanovic.
Like David and Goliath.
Yes. Fourth tackle.
Great pass.
Chengai makes space on the outside. Is he going to meet the fullback and go? He just goes straight through him. It's superb rugby league here from Dennis Chengai. Good speed, good intent. Met the centre who was coming across, Stefan Vukanovic. Ran straight through him.
He decided, well, I'm going to
run over
myself.
The top of you. Yeah. And he could probably see, that he didn't need the step. He just took him with him across the line and said, you're coming across with not the right amount of intent.
When you've got confidence in yourself and the strength that you have, it's a great feeling, isn't it? We go back to when we used to play. When you got that feeling,
I never had that feeling very much, mate. Unfortunately, I did get it in a couple of different sports, but I have to admit I was terrible at rugby league. I have to admit that.
Well, I think
I never had that feeling.
Maybe it doesn't have to just be rugby league, but you.
I had it once for about 15 seconds. I got into a gap and thought, what the hell am I doing here? So I'm sure you. I understand what you're saying. I'm sure you had the feeling far more often.
When you back yourself and you think, well, I can see who's coming and I'm going to take him.
Oh, it's beautiful.
My God, he's
missed that one.
He's having a terrible time with the boot in the second half, isn't he?
Second half, yes.
Conversion
Yeah, well,
rate.
it started with the one over here, so I think
And he's
he's
never
now
recovered.
No, he's got about 1 from 4 now, hasn't? Or is it 0 from 4? I think he's missed all 4. I've forgotten what the score is because we're too busy laughing and joking around. But 54.
54. Mm-hmm.
I think it might even be 58 actually. Može je 58, ljudi. Može je 58. Zato što je bio 46-0 polovreme i ovi je bio 3 SE. Da, mislim je, da li je bio 46-0 na polovreme? Okay, here's the kickoff. A little bit of talking there in Serbian. Here's Martinovic. Okay, the score is 58-0. We've had that confirmed.
You did well to keep that score correct there, Colin. I must admit, I wasn't sure.
I'm trying hard to be professional. Bolsha Zarkovic with a great little run there. That's wonderful to see that. Djurdjevic has been full of intent. Oh, great intercept there.
It was fantastic.
Superb intercept. I don't mind them trying a little bit of razzle-dazzle now, actually. I think they should go a little bit more expansive and just see what they can create. But it's great to see, you mentioned before about Mark. Well, Bolsha Zarkovic is a really, really good example. He's lost the ball. And too much complaining as well. You just need to concentrate on the game. He's going to get 10 minutes here. He's just lost the ball.
I thought he'd penalised him. It looked like he'd given that decision with a penalty, but no.
I thought so as well. I think he has changed the mind now.
I'm guessing there's some frustration.
There's a lot of frustration here. So, da li je bio žuti karton? Nije. Da, ali on nije. Da.
Good drive down the middle, few yards gained. Well, he sold the dummy there, did Voya, but they weren't taking it. And,
no.
It was a great tackle.
Here's Djurdjevic with one of these runs again. Pass over the top. He might need to just hang on to the ball a bit. Kristic. Oh, the pass was too hard.
I'm not even sure he was expecting it. I think he'd got the gap, and I think he was expecting him to run through himself.
I'm just going to try and count the numbers here in the background if you'd like to continue. I do believe that was a yellow card. So there's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is. There's 12. There's 12 on the field now for Dorcol Tigers.
So, yeah. Which is not what they needed.
No. Mislim je bio žuti karton, oni samo imaju 12 sada, da. So here's the hit up. Može da. Nikolic. Actually, that's not Nikolic, sorry. Here's Nikolic playing at dummy half at the moment. That might be a high tackle there. Da. Lucky not to have the penalty there for the high tackle, 5th and last. Here's the kick. That's a good kick, but well positioned there by Zogovic. Zogovic slows down, puts the step on.
But they met him well.
Oh, he ran straight into that.
Three of the bigger guys, and they still didn't put him down.
Here's Vojadedic picking the gap. He'll split
Beautiful.
Rajko Trifunovic, there's your 62 points.
Yeah, Voya just looked for the gap. He found the gap, and there was that extra little bit of speed, which he's certainly improved upon.
Oh, it's wonderful. He looks fit. He looks fit from both perspectives. There doesn't look to be an injury with him, like he's not staying
he's
down.
Not holding
after
anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But my God, does he have a physique now that shows that he's fit and ready to play. So 62 points to 0 is the score. And I think this one might give Milos Zogovic a little bit more confidence from in front of the post to resume his normal transmission from the first half.
And you see, the Red Star guys, they're still talking about what they need to do. It's great feeling, isn't it?
I love it. And look, it's hard not to talk a little bit during this commentary, because most people now who are watching know that I'm heavily involved with Red Star. But this is so important that they develop this attitude, because when I first came into the club, the attitude was, if we get to 20 points in front, it's cool, we'll just take the foot off the gas. And, being Australian or English, how you just, what do you mean you take the foot off the gas when you're 20 in front, boys? What sort of attitude is that? Firstly, it's a disrespect to yourself, it's a disrespect to the opposition, it's a disrespect to the whole game. There are people that get hurt badly playing this game.
Well, I think that's involvement, isn't it? And with your involvement and the coaching staff and the support staff, the realisation that they want to be better as a unit, better as a club, and it's good to see that they continue the intensity from first kick to last, and
that's
it's great
important
to see.
Here's the kickoff. Valentino takes it well. Milovanovic with a crossfield run.
You see the confidence in Valentino, a 19-year-old kid there who's full of confidence. He's made that position his own. He's just such a star of the future, isn't he?
Yes. Nedeljkovic was wanting a little rest there and didn't get it. Vojedic. Jankovic, good run. Now he's making meters. Finds the front in good position for a quick play. The ball plays it well. Now Red Star are on the rampage with Vojedic taking it into the middle.
And he got it out.
What a pass. Oh, what a ball on the inside. Vladislav Dedic. That is beautiful rugby
Brilliant
league.
Support play, wasn't it?
That is the best piece of rugby league we've seen so far today from the Red Star Belgrade team, with ball in hand, offloads in the tackle, meeting it with intent. Beautiful inside ball movement there from 68 points now to 0.
It's good to see Vlada getting on the end of a try. Normally he's the provider, and he's such a great support player, and he's looking for gaps. He generally finds someone to flick the ball out to, but he was on the end of it this time, which is great to see. He's had a sterling game as well.
I don't think you could find a bad player at the moment on the Red Star Belgrade team. There was a couple of errors from Vuk Strubac to start the second half. There was a couple of errors in a row from Marko Jankovic to start the first. But that was exciting, where Jankovic really broke the line and he got split. Yeah. Split those two defenders, got that famous, he's on the front, gets the fast play to ball. Vojislav Dedic, and I made a slight error, so it was Voja with the beautiful offload that you saw, to Milos Zogovic with the basketball offload back inside. So that makes it 70 points to 0. To give a little bit of education to our English-speaking fans, 70 points to 0.
Very impressive, Colin. I've been here now 18 months, and I've just learnt to order coffee with hot milk in Serbian. So
Svaka ti čast. Congratulations.
I got ordering a beer within the first week.
Of course. Beer is pivo.
Pivo.
So here's Dorcol Tigrovi is the name of the club, the Dorcol Tigers. Quite an interesting logo with the bomb. Here we go.
Yeah.
Taken by Mark Pullen. And here's Ilya Kristic.
Was that a swinging arm?
Yeah, a bit of a
there?
swinging arm there, but he's taken that well.
Yeah. Give him the benefit. I think he was committed.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think the refereeing has been excellent. I think the only error was a tackle just there, probably about 5 minutes ago, that was a bit high on one of the Dorcol Tigers players on the 5th. Daniel Watson has been utterly courageous with the injuries that he's picked up today. Vlada Dedic, big difference now when Vlada's on the field playing in that pivotal number 9 position. Dedic again, Voja Dedic. Beautiful
Good
ball to
miss-out
Rajko
pass.
Trifunovic, and that is going to be 74 points to 0.
Well, the gaps are going to come even more now, aren't they?
Filipe, da li je 74? Da? Jeste.
I mean, the fatigue now for Dorcol will be pretty tough for them now, because from the first kickoff, it feels like they've been defending. Now we're 10 minutes away from full time. I feel really sorry for them now, because it's not been a joyful game for them, has it?
It's not joyful when you're on the end of a hiding. There's no worse place to be, because it's a bit like sitting on an economy class seat for a 14-hour flight. There's just nowhere to go.
How do you know about economy flights?
Oh, mate,
Colin?
I know very much about that. I'm an expert on that one. That's why I come here so often, mate. If I took business class, I'd only come here once every 2 years. Okay, here's Miloš Zogovic. How do you think I can get here every 3 months? Very good. 76 points to 0. 76-0. Tako je. Yes, here we go. Probably about 15 minutes left in this half of rugby league. What do you think?
Well, I mean, for me now, Colin, from Dorcol, they'll be looking for the end of this game. They're going to try and, they're going to have to regroup after this and say, what can we do to improve? Do they have any improvement? I don't know. But it must be pretty frustrating for all concerned, because they've just been steamrolled in every area of the pitch.
Oh, they'd be hurting too. I mean, look at that. That is a good hit, but that's courage there from the number 11, Sergej Devetak. Bolsha Zarkovic with a good little run. Well done, Bolsha, and an offload as well. And good sportsmanship there between the two players afterwards, because that's something we had seen previously in Serbia. Good run there, great offload. Kristic with the opportunity on the sideline, and it's a forward pass. Oh, I think that was an error. Wow. So, called that forward, but that was in front of us.
Again, the intensity, you see Daniel there, he was saying, come on, linesman, that wasn't forward. Here we are, 10 minutes to go, and he's still...
Oh, I love it.
He's got that intensity, hasn't he?
I love it. I think it's magnificent. I mean, to have that, you've got to have that level of commitment no matter what the score is. And I could imagine Daniel's the sort of person where if he was on the other end of this, he'd still be in there talking. And
well, Daniel would be still thinking we can win this game.
You win something from it, win the next 10 minutes.
Exactly, yeah.
That's very slow turning the ball there on the inside. That is pure fatigue there. That's the number 13, Veljko Stalovic. But it's not just his fault. The ball from the inside.
Well, from Nikos was very slow.
Very slow. Nikša Unkovic now being pushed backwards as well. That's better intent there from Nikolic, and that's a knock on. So the first one there that they hit with some level of speed there on the blind side. But again, I know how people would feel seeing this game from overseas. These are bodies that have been battered on the Dorcol Tigers side. They've been met consistently with strong defence, and they've been hit with options in attack, and they're just fatigued now. So Vojvodinic talking about hitting with options. Look at this. That is, the defence is now non-existent, and my prediction now is that if Red Star Belgrade can hold the ball for the next 10 minutes, there will be 100 points. So, 80.
Phil, how long?
10 more minutes. 80 je, da? So 80 points now to 0 with a kick in front. It's going to be 82. There's 10 minutes to go. So
this is going to be the longest 10 minutes for Dorcol, you feel?
Back to the economy class seat, mate. This is very much every minute now will be like every hour that I spend tomorrow afternoon in transit from Doha to Perth.
You were telling me earlier, Colin, you've got a hell of a journey tomorrow, mate. So I wish you a safe journey tomorrow, but obviously going to be very long for you. No. I don't envy you.
I don't envy me either.
Well, I'm going to. I'm
going
to Toronto on Tuesday, and you make my sort of 10-hour flight in total seem
that's
nothing.
Nice. That's nice. You can break that up a little bit, but you know that's not going to be easy, mate. Travelling from here to the US also is a strong jet lag factor, and you'll need a good 3 days. So, speaking of a good 3 days, I think all these players are also going to need a good 3 days, like both you and I. And we can all speak together maybe next Friday and talk about how we're rejuvenated for whatever we're doing next. Indeed. 82 points to 0. That means there's 3 converted tries to bring up the 3 figures. With about 9 minutes left, I would predict that the next minute will be slowly spent walking to the halfway line. So we'll probably be around 8 minutes left in the match. If I was the referee, I'd be letting the clock wind down as well, because I do think it's cruel to the players to now put time off and things of that nature. The sun. I know it's the 1st of March. I came here on about the 21st of February. I have never seen such warm weather in Belgrade consistently like what we've seen in the last week and a half. It is...
it's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. There's a lot of things that are crazy at the moment, and we won't get into any of them.
No.
Here we are with the short kick-off. It's a good kick-off too. And Milovanovic does really, really well. Really proud of his work. As you said before, mate, 19 years of age. One of the really good prospects from the Red Star Academy, Trifunovic. Runs the ball really well into the centre of the field, providing the Red Star team with options. Here's Mate Bajic. Good run with good intent, picked up, held there with makes a few post contacts. Alexander Djordjevic, options here on the left.
I think that was maybe slightly forward.
Yep, slightly forward. I think there goes the chance for the 100. What do we got here? We got something else off the ball. I really like the way the Serbian referees do this, actually. Because of the way things are here, they just take that little bit of time. This has been started by Radoslav Novakovic. Calls the scrum, does well, takes the moment to just take the heat out.
Well, I think the linesman may have said that on the previous set that the Dorcol defence wasn't back the requisite 10, but I think the referee's made a good decision.
I think so. I think he knows they're fatigued. So... here's the scrum. Nikša Unkovic feeds it to the lock. That's spectacular work. So here's Nikolic. This is much. Just a speed.
He's picked his pocket and he's got the speed, of course.
Trifunovic with the score. It's hard to get excited about that. I was about to say that was the first movement we seen from a scrum where Dorcol Tigers were hitting that ball with intent. There was a nice worked move there, and he just drops the ball straight into the lap of Trifunovic, and it's good night, nurse. Tako je. 86-0, 86-0. It's hard to get excited about that sort of play.
Well, it is, and it is what it is today, Colin. And I think from a rugby league perspective, it's been disappointing, to see such a gap.
I didn't expect this. I, to be honest with you, I was thinking around, less than half of this, and that Red Star would be tested strongly for 20 to 30 minutes, and then maybe have like a 10-minute period at the end of the first half where they kicked away a bit, made a little bit of, made like a fairly decisive gap. Then the first 10 minutes of the second half would be strong, and maybe you would be more 20, 25 minutes in the second.
Well, they are going to be very disappointed. I was talking to the Dorcol team before the game, and they were pumped up, they were confident, they were looking forward very much to this game.
Oh, they wanted to take us down last year after the
after the
Balkan Super League final, and if we had been fit enough, we wouldn't have been able to put 10 fit people on the pitch after those two finals, because even though the scoreline, I think one of the matches there was a stronger scoreline than the other, but Partizan battered our players, and they were battered already from a massive season. So here's the short kick-off, and they've done well here. Oh, I don't think he knocked that on. He's knocked that backwards about nearly a metre, so that's a little bit unfair. Okay. Changed his mind. It is a Red Star scrum, but he's knocked that backwards about half a metre. So 88 points to 0. Probably 5 minutes left. Absolute maximum in the game. Good numbers and hitting from depth. This is going to be on here.
Oh, I think he's going forward.
He made an error passing it forward.
Well, he shouldn't have passed.
No.
He should have continued his run
he should have
drew
continued.
the man in and then given it.
Yeah,
I'm
he had to
guessing
give it first.
Milos was asking for it because he was desperate to,
Well, he had the two choices. He appeared to straighten up and then try and pass the ball. He shouldn't have done that. He should have gave it while he was running on that angle straight away when he got the call. So he made that error sort of straightening up. Once he made the error, he had to just continue. He'd overrun because Milos is too fast. So a little bit sloppy there, but it's hard to be overly critical. I mean, there were so many options. He could have ran himself. He could have passed to Zogovic. He could have straightened up and passed to the right.
Yeah. I'm still guessing Phil will give him a hard time on that one, though, afterwards.
Well, I'll give him a hard time too, actually. Yeah, dropped there by Nikolic. I think there'll now be enough time for one more score, so I predict that this is going to finish as a 94-0 result. Here's the first tackle. Oh, well, my prediction there. Bolsha's dropped that badly. He'd actually been fairly handy before that, Bolsha Zarkovic.
Well, he's another young guy, isn't he? Yeah. Who's committed to the cause and
committed to the cause.
He's a lovely guy off the field as well.
We're one of the first Serbian players to purchase a membership and things of that nature, which is what we're trying to promote within the club because we're in this together. Look at that tackle from Vojislav Dedic. I mean, he's monstered
like the
him
first
in
minute of the game.
79th minute, and he's monstered it. Avramovic Slater. He's tackled. They went backwards there by about 10 metres in that tackle. But this is wonderful here from Dorcol. Bit of room. So Red Star on a defensive side. We saw it down this side here in front of us in the first half. So a little bit of an issue just on the right-hand side. Maybe between the centre and the winger. So Trifunovic is playing in the centres today, which is a little bit different. Here's the kick. Nice kick down to Zogovic. Steps on to the inside.
Well, he's going to fancy it, isn't he?
Oh, it was a really split defensive line that came up, and you could hear Daniel Watson calling to him where to run. Vojvodedic, impossible to put down. Nice ball there. Good little kick over the top. Ilya Kristic, does he have it? He does, and there it is. 92 points to nil. Little bit of difference there from Alexander Djordjevic with a beautiful little chip over the top for the winger. Bounced perfectly into the corner. And there we have 92 points. And that is time. He's called it time. So there won't be time for anything more other than the conversion. So yeah, looking at this, there was about 4 to 5 kicks that were missed. So that had probably put it up around 15 tries scored today.
Yeah, I reckon.
Probably around maybe 16. Maybe 16 pending this conversion. Now that'd be right. There'd be 16 tries scored in 80 minutes of rugby league, so that's a try every 4.5 minutes. I liked mathematics.
I was just thinking, my God, that's very impressive, Colin. You got a calculator there, isn't it?
Mate, being involved with a rugby league club, I better have a good handle on mathematics, my friend. Okay, so Milos Zogovic here with the kick. Doesn't take a genius to work out that it'll be 94 if he gets it, 92 if he doesn't. Great to see the spirit between the two clubs.
There hasn't been anything,
nothing.
untoward during
Absolutely
the game. We saw a couple of players asking if everybody's okay after.
And he's got it. He's absolutely. Oh yeah! Well, it's actually gone in.
No, I think it dropped underneath.
Did it?
I think
Wow.
so. And more importantly, the linesman thought that as well. So.
Yes. Okay, we're going to wrap things up here. This has been the first Sports Flick Serbian Rugby League Federation broadcast for the 20th year of Serbian Rugby League competition. My name is not important. I've been working here today with a man who is important, Graham Sims. Graham, any final comments from you?
Well, I think, there's two distinctive camps, and I think Phil is going to be very happy with, the performance, the intensity from the first minute to the 80th. I think, there's signs of improvement on Red Star. I think the fitness is showing. I think they're in a very good place, and it's going to be very interesting to see the likes of Radnički Niš and Partizan, competing against a very impressive Red Star team. On the flip side, I think Dalibor and the rest of the Dorcol boys are going to say, well, what went wrong? Because is this a realization? Are they not where they think they are? There's got to be a lot of work behind the scenes now for them to come back, and that's going to be the strength of them now to see how they react to this. But all in all, a great day for Red Star, and disappointing for Dorcol. But we wish them well for the season coming up.
Of course we do. All right, well, we'll wrap things up there. We think that was a really good advertisement today, in particular for the Red Star Belgrade Rugby League Club. but really good here to see the Dorcol Tigers. They have played their hearts out today. They've tried. They know tomorrow they'll be very, very sore. So on behalf of Graham Sims,
excellent.
nice work. It's nice to see. That's the thing about sport, and in particular for me, I played other sports. I played cricket, but one thing I love about rugby league is the spirit of the combat and how the players behave after a match. So I think that's the best way to sign off.
Indeed.
Thank you, and see you next week for the Super Cup final. It'll be between Red Star Belgrade and the winner of today's other match, Partizan and Radnički Niš. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Excellent, mate.